Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today, I'm finally getting to look at the Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha 3 Sagat Player 2. Mine finally got here. My local United States Postal Service. Sometimes they're a bit slower getting things out to me, but that's okay. I'm sure you've seen other videos, but watch this one anyway because this figure is awesome. I knew I was really gonna like him, but when I got him in hand, oh my goodness, I've had a hard time putting him down. He is absolutely gorgeous. This video is going to be slightly different than other reviews because he is the same figure more or less than the Player 1, so we're not going to go over his height and his articulation too much. If you want to see more of that, check out my Player 1 video. But let's take a look at this package, and then we'll kind of compare it to the Player 1 package, and then we'll move on with some comparisons. Then we'll look at his his aesthetic and his accessories, because those are two things that are absolutely night and day different from the Player 1. Anyways, let's look at his box here, because I got mine from a Chinese vendor. Anybody that has this figure outside of China got it from one of those people. It says Street Fighter 03 because it's from them. The Go bar down here, it says Zism. Keep in mind the darker skin tone. We'll go over that more here in a minute. And again, there's a darker skin tone right there on the sprite. On the back, it's got some really cool little images right there. Got the tiger shot and the tiger punch effects right there. Him doing some cool stuff. And if I bring in the Player 1 box, we'll see right here, notice the difference in skin tones right there. Keep that in mind when we do that right there. Again, see that? We'll have to talk about that more here in just a minute. And if I fiddle around with these boxes, you can see the back of both of them simultaneously. Again, the sprite up there in the corner, different skin tones, and it's got different figure photos or whatever. And honestly, this one has less, and I don't really like that. I like it when they use up the space, but they both look really good. The differences are they're stark but nominal all at the same time. But let's stand him next to some other figures that I've dug out, and then we'll move on from there. And first up, I want to stand him next to the Doppo Orochi from the Storm Collectibles Baki Hanma line. I meant to do this with my Player 1 review, but I actually just forgot to dig this figure out because he's my second favorite bald-headed guy with a patch with a big bunch of muscles and stuff. And I love the aesthetic on this figure, and I think they look really awesome. They could almost be like cousins, or like this is his little brother or something. I think this looks really cool. I hope that in the future we get a Doppo Orochi in the Storm Arena line. I'd really like to see how that looks. But their paint jobs and shit, and their sculpts just look absolutely fantastic. And next, here he is with both of the Player 1, Storm Arena Ken and Ryu's. And of course, he's bigger than them like he should be. But they all three look really awesome. I absolutely love this iteration of Sagat right here. And of course, let's stand him next to the Player 1 Sagat. I just want to sit back in my seat and just kind of bask in how awesome having, double the awesome Sagat figure right here, just standing side by side. It looks absolutely fantastic. These are probably the best action figures on the market right now. Now, for his aesthetic, I have to say they took a figure that I wasn't sure you could make look any better in the form of the Player 1, and they have absolutely outdone themselves with the Player 2. This thing is a work of art. I literally feel like I'm holding art right now. This thing is absolutely so beautiful. But before we get into the final points, I want to address the elephant in the room, at least one of the two elephants in the room. One, yes, these two basically have the exact same skin tone. If you removed the paint from both of them, the plastic color that would be underneath would be the same color. The reason this one has the appearance of being darker, and I have been somebody before I had him in hand saying, oh, the skin is darker. The skin is not. The shading that they have used for this one is much darker and much more pronounced. I mean, look at that just right there on that shoulder. Look how much more shading there is, and look how much darker the dark brown is versus the kind of light brown that they used on the Player 1. That in and of itself is what is giving him the darker appearance. Is that necessarily right? No, he should be just a darker skin tone figure because that's the Player 2 is darker. but I get why they did it so that you can swap the head sculpts. So I'm cool with it all at the same time. But do I agree as far as like, should they have done that, or should we got a little bit more accurate? Yes, they should have been a little more accurate with it. But I'm cool with it because he does look darker. Even in hand, he looks darker, and on the camera, I can tell he looks a little bit darker, and that has to do with the shading. Move player one over here, but he looks so good. Like I said about the shading, it is a lot darker of a brown, and they were a lot more heavy-handed, but in a good way with it. Look at it up through there in the clavicle and around the traps right there, through his deltoids. It's through every muscle, nice and dark there on the elbow, through the triceps. His back has a lot more shading on it than the original one did, or at least it looks like it, because it's a lot more pronounced of a brown, and it just looks so good. Look at the shading down through there in the muscles of the lower back. That looks so awesome. His legs are chocked full of it. Looks super duper good. Now, a lot of people are saying that they don't like the color of the trunks, that some people have called them tan. I think they just look like kind of dirty gray. And in hand, I really like the look of it. I love the kind of I don't know if that's a wash or what they've put through it to give it that look, but I really like it. It's kind of got a matte to satin kind of finish to it that really is kind of a stark contrast to the beautiful flat finish on the rest of the figure. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Now, the next elephant in the room. Yes, there is blue on the hand wraps and on the foot wraps. Yes, I believe it is supposed to be there because I personally think that that is a blue dry brush that they have put on it to kind of shade the white of those wraps, because if you actually look at the game sprites, the wraps are very bright white, and these are darker. Some people have tried to say they're opposite. No, these are supposed to be brighter than the pants, and it is not uncommon for white to be shaded with blue on action figures. If you don't believe me, go look at Fourth Form Frieza from the Dragon Ball Z line of SH Figuarts. They use blue to shade that white figure. So do I think it looks bad? No, not necessarily. I think they probably could have just done a better job of doing it, but it's a smart color choice, and this is why I believe that, because anybody who has the player one, if you look at the player one, they have done a kind of a whitewash on those gray wraps in the same spots. It's just a white wash, and in part of it there's actually a white wash in them a little bit, and then there is a darker dry brush over it to kind of make them look dirty. And where the darker dry brush is on the fist is where some of that light blue dry brush, if I'm saying the word right, dry brush, on the whites of the player two. If you get down the feet, same concept. Do you see that white on the gray of the player one? Now look right here. There is faint blue in the same places on player two. That is 100% intentional, and it is a not so well done blue dry brush that they have put on it. So it is not a smudge. It's not a QC issue. I personally, and my word isn't like the end all be all, but I personally believe it to be a blue, like a light blue dry brush that they've put on it. And I'm not arguing with it. I think it's all right. I think it looks just fine. Because this figure is so awesome, even though it's probably not the best done dry brush that's ever existed, I still think it is pretty darn good. Let's take a look at his accessories, because I'm really excited to kind of dig into them. Now, for accessories, both these figures, player one and player two, come with a fantastic spread of stuff, particularly for their money. And what's crazy is player two actually comes with a little bit more stuff, but when it was all kind of said and done, where I bought through a Chinese vendor, they both cost me the same amount pretty much, within like $5 or so of each other, which was actually surprising. But they both come with two head sculpts. They both come with this serious head on them in the package right here, and it looks really awesome. But they also both come with a teeth gritting face. The player one right here on the left is kind of more of a teeth gritting, while the player 2 head sculpt that he gets is more almost kind of like a maniacal grin kind of look. If you see the difference there, it's like the lips go down on the player 1 and they go up on the player 2. Very, very similar and both awesome. Of course, they both come with fist hands on them in the package that look really nice. And they both also come with like open, like tiger, whatever kind of hands, whatever you want to call these. And they both look, if you can see right here, player 1, obviously in my left hand, has that white dry brush that we just talked about. And the player 2 has that blue dry brush in the same places. So they both look really, really great there. Of course, they both come with the standard Storm Arena stand back there. I'm not going to dig that out. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Player 1 comes with this flaming kick kind of deal here. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Really great accessory. It looks really, really good. A little cumbersome to put on him.
Shut up, bitch!
But it's actually really, really good. Now, player 2, if you probably already know by now, come with these 2 tiger punch effects right here that are absolutely gorgeous. These are 2 of the best punching effects I think I've ever seen. You know, they're flexible plastic, but they're translucent all at the same time. Got oranges and reds, you know, fading out and through there. Absolutely wonderful, fantastic, fantastic effect pieces. And the player 2 comes with the tiger shot effect, and this thing is awesome. It comes with its own clear acrylic stand right here, in addition to the stand for him. And I really, really like this thing. It's a little flexible and it might come a little warped in your package, but you can adjust it and fix it and make it look a lot better. And it looks so, so good. Again, same type of concept with the tiger punch effects. Clear acrylic plastic, kind of yellows and orange that fade out in the red. Looks really, really nice. I absolutely love the spread of stuff for this player 2, where he's an exclusive. And again, like I said, he's essentially the same price, or at least it cost me the same price. I don't know what his, you know, Chinese retail was, and if he ever comes here to America, you all tell me if it's more or less than what the player 1. But they're fantastic nonetheless. Okay, final thoughts on the Player 2 exclusive Storm Arena Street Fighter Alpha 3 Sagat here. You already know the old man loves this thing. It is probably my new favorite, at least Street Fighter figure. Maybe one of my top 3 favorite figures that I own, period. This thing is absolutely beautiful. It was instant grail piece for probably anybody who's into Street Fighter the moment it was announced. This thing is awesome. He's A+ across the board. Did you even doubt? Should you get this? If you can find it and afford it, yes. Buy this thing, absolutely. I kind of wish I had bought 2 of them, but 1 will do, because, you know, I would want to, you know, use 2 hands to maneuver him. This thing is fantastic. The paint looks absolutely gorgeous. Did the skin tone, like the base skin tone, should it have been darker? Yes, but I think that they made a smart play in leaving it the same and shading him darker to make him look darker. I think that the blue wash that's on the wraps looks good enough. It probably could have been done a little bit better, but it looks good enough. The accessories are fantastic. Of course, his articulation's great and all that good stuff. He is wonderful. Anyway, check out my Player 1, video. Check out my videos on all the other figures you saw on this in this video. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.